welcome to Univision, Carolina, Sarassa, and thank you for being here. And at the moment, all eyes on Hurricane Dorian, Florida, bracing for a direct hit from what could be a major Category 4 hurricane. Every county in Florida is under a state of emergency. And of course, we have more information coming up in our
last advisor from the National Hurricane Center. And as we said an hour ago, it's a major hurricane right now. It's a Category 3 hurricane in the Atlantic Basin. Right now, it's going to the Bahamas, so it will reach the group of islands by the end of, for the southeast of the U.S. and the Bahamas 24 hours before.
And before it happens, when it happens, and the moment after it happens, all that rain and flooding. Thank you so much, Albert. And always you have the best information with us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And as Hurricane Dorian gets stronger, the first all-female flight crew has been flying into the eye of the storm, collecting data. Joining me now by phone is Lieutenant Lindsay Norman. She's one of those crew members. Thank you for your time. That was historic and great. Morning, history was made by these three women. And now Floridians are getting ready, not taking the threat lightly. Lorraine Cáceres is live from Doral, Florida with more. Lorraine.
That's right. Lines have been long all over the state, especially here in South Florida, where we might get a direct hit from Dorian. And I want to show you a little bit what's going on right behind me here. Some of the cars, a lot of cars have been making the line, sometimes blocking traffic, everybody trying to gas up. And that's because Floridians know too well the dangers of this storm. Gas is one of the most important things you can stock up, because once those orders of evacuation come in, you have to be ready to sit in traffic for a few happening sometime today, maybe early tomorrow, Saturday in the morning. So that fuel, important things like fuel, can start rolling in to the state well before the storm hits. That is all the information we have for now. We'll be watching this storm closely. For now, back to you.
Thank you, Lorraine, for that information. And now, as millions of Florida residents remain in Dorian's path, officials are urging people to get ready now. We are joined by Grace Meinhofer. She says turn to Washington. The results are in from the investigation of former FBI Director James Comey by the Department of Justice Inspector General. The finding that Comey violated FBI policies for his handling of some memos, but the DOJ is declining to prosecute. Andrea Linares explains. Thank you, Andrea, for that information. And meanwhile, on Thursday, President Trump continuing his push for a sixth branch of the military, the United States Space Force. Joe Biden on the defensive. The former VP is defending his faulty description of a tale of military heroism and his interactions with service members. The Washington Post, marijuana is still very controversial. Some states across the U.S. are legalizing it, but the federal government is still actively warning people about the risk. Peggy Carranza has more from New York.
Although many states have changed their laws around marijuana use, federal laws still treat it as a controlled substance. In New York City, Peggy Carranza, U-News.
Thank you, Peggy, for that report. And now Texas is teaming up with Bumble to crack down on people who send unsolicited nude images on dating apps and elsewhere in cyberspace. The state. Meanwhile, Texas Governor Greg Abbott admits that a fundraising letter his campaign sent the day before the El Paso mass shooting was badly worded. The letter focused on the number of people coming into Texas from Mexico. It told supporters, quote, "If we are going to defend Texas, we will need to take matters into our own hands." On Thursday, he said, quote, "Mistakes were made and a course of correction has been made." His language. The response also said Abbott did not actually apologize and needs to do so. And now in Alabama, Republican Governor Kay Ivey on Thursday apologized for participating in a skit that involved blackface when she was a college student in the 1960s. That we stand with Governor Ivey, uniting our state for a greater future. Now turning to immigration, the Trump administration is constructing makeshift 10 courthouses to process asylum cases along the U.S.-Mexico border soon. Immigration judges across the country will take on those cases. And in the meantime, asylum applicants wait in limbo, many frustrated and afraid. Pedro Rojas has more details. In Washington state, after accusations that some guests of the Motel 6 chain had their names turned over to ICE without a warrant, some of those victims could get financial compensation. Gianni Aponte has more details. And coming up, a popular doorbell camera company. A mother in South Florida is desperately mourning her teenage daughter who was gunned down in a drive-by shooting. As Carolina Rosario explains, she's still looking for answers. Police in Pennsylvania say they pulled a woman over on Wednesday with 500 small bags of heroin in her car. Concerns today about those popular Ring doorbell cameras after word that the company is partnering with more than 400 police departments. Ring is calling it the new neighborhood watch, but the move is raising privacy and surveillance questions. Rafael Rodriguez explains why. One university is trying to change the rehabilitation process for patients with mobility issues by using video games, but the end goal is to enhance the way medical experts use video games to help people with an assortment of medical conditions. Natalia Meneses has the story.
This morning, good news about Alex Trebek, the iconic Jeopardy host, announcing he's done with chemotherapy for pancreatic cancer, and he's now back on the job taping season 36 of the show. Miriam Arias has more.
Alex Trebek is almost 80 years old, and I honestly don't think that he's ever been happier. Production for this season started on July 22nd. We'll get to see the first episode on September 9th.
I'm so happy to hear this news because pancreatic cancer can be very, very difficult to treat. Now, I'd like to wish everyone a safe Labor Day weekend, and remember to know more about Hurricane Dorian, follow univisionnews.com.